Life is something that is very fragile. Many times within our own lives, we forget how quickly our worlds can change. I'm Anaya Lugo, reporting from Emiart Studio. On September 11th, 2001, lives of everyone in this great nation changed forever. This change occurred in a very heinous act of terror. Many students here at Emiart Studio who were too young, when two airplanes hijacked by terrorists were deliberately launched into the two towers in New York City, the ones that meant the most to us and represented unity and freedom. Within this came the deaths of many innocent men and women. Some were fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, sons, and daughters, all expecting to go to work and return home to their family members that night, as many of us do each day.
We commemorate this day, not to harbor resentment or sadness on tragedies from our past, but to acknowledge how precious our lives are. We are all unique. We are all one. Growing up, the tragedy of 9/11 was something that was always spoken of in my home with much solemnity, and many times I would find myself listening with the same detachment as I would to a chapter in my history books. However, this is an event that created very powerful ripples that will continue to affect our lives. We had the liberty of speaking with some teachers here at Mass to understand how 9/11 affected them.
So 9/11 affected me in my sense of security. When I found out about it, I was at a meeting with other people, and at that time not everybody had cell phones, and it was just like rumors, and when we finally turned on the TVs and saw what was happening, it was absolutely shocking that something like that could happen in this country. So for me, it really changed my idea of security and a sense of safety, and I think ever since then I and everybody else has been much more cautious about where we are, our surroundings, and what's happening around us.
I was in 5th grade when the Twin Towers collapsed, and I recall it correctly. I was sitting by a window seat in one of those little cubby desks, and the school counselor came into my classroom and basically said that the World Trade Centers, a plane had crashed into them. I had no idea what the World Trade Centers were. I had no idea how urgent the situation was. It was almost like just basic news, whatever. I mean, stuff happens. But in this case, I didn't realize it until I went home. I got home and I saw my family surrounding the TV, and they were getting live footage from the event, from the disaster. And you see people throwing themselves off the topmost floor of this building. And at that moment, I could not imagine being in a situation where you have no point of escape and your only chance is to throw yourself out of a building. And these were men and women who were sons, daughters, they were mothers and fathers, they were grandparents, they were standard employees working their 9 to 5, hoping that they would get home to their families. And we as teachers and students, we expect that we're gonna leave our school and we're gonna be safe and we're gonna go home and we're gonna follow, the routine of our day. We don't expect that to be thrown off by something that can change our lives forever and change the lives of the people who are around us.
Even though 9/11 reaped a tragic outcome, it brought our nation together to rise above the adversity.